Hello, everybody. I'm here with the great Bob Wentz. He's a graduate of Union High School, 1958. He's also the golf teacher of the year, 1987, at the Crescent Range in Vauxhall, New Jersey. 1992 and 1993, golf champion of the year in the state of New Jersey, and the PGA champion of the year in the state of New Jersey, 1993. Bob Wentz, it's a pleasure to have you on the platform.
Nice to be here.
Question for you. In your opinion, who was the greatest athlete to ever come out of Union High School?
Very tough decision there. Peacock would be considered, but there's ones that have done 3 or 4 sports there that could have made any one of 3 or 4 sports. You would have to consider Bobby Adams. I think the class of 57 would be up there. You would have to somewhat include Elliot Maddox, Alan Santorini. And there's another ones that I haven't kept up on, some of the players on that Lamatti's baseball team, so I couldn't really pinpoint it. It'd be unfair to put anyone. I couldn't. Nobody stands out as the one. There was many good. Union High was loaded with good players. I've been around teaching people all over the state, and they all said that Union High was a tough team to handle in all sports. And I went to my senior year. Walter Shellcross was a great legend of wrestling coaches at Roseville Park. Our senior year, we had 4 state champs alone. And the Janish brothers both won state championship. Brownman did, and it was the sport in Union High. They filled up the gym more for wrestling than they did for the basketball team because they were better.
Right.
And my senior year also, they had the first black quarterback making All-State. And they were co-champions of co-state champions, and they had a great football team, and a lot of those guys on the football team were on the wrestling team. And then we, in the spring of the year, under Weber, who was a football coach at the time, replacing Garrett Brandt, was our baseball coach, and we were Group 4 champions there. And that's about it. It could go on. If there's more questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Right, so you have a pretty rich history, not just only in Union, New Jersey, but the state of New Jersey. So I want to ask you, at the Crescent Range back in Vauxhall, New Jersey, on Springfield Avenue, what was it like teaching young black kids to play the game of golf?
It was when I left club work. I had 1 year at Fairmont and Chatham, 1 year at Springbrook, 7 years at Canoebrook up by the Short Hills Mall. The most fun I ever had teaching was at Crescent Range, because I made up my mind earlier that I was going to teach who I wanted to, and I wasn't going to be. The best way to say it is those clubs had some prejudice going on at that time, and I didn't believe in that. So if I wanted to teach anybody, I got my corner room down at Crescent Range, and I taught them, and I enjoyed it. And it was just greatest thing in my career, the greatest decision I ever made. My best friends told me not to go that way because at the time, if you were not a club pro, you were looked down. As a driving range pro was looked down, like he wasn't as good. But when I qualified for the National Open in 1985, they all couldn't understand how a driving range pro could make the National Open, which I did 4 times. So I'm proud of that. But the Crescent Range gave me the start, and the funny thing was there was a lot of guys in that area that knew me from high school basketball and sports were in that area. So Union is quite a town, let me tell you my opinion.
Right. And last question, last but not least, Bob. Your family has been around so long in the township. What advice would you give to an up-and-coming athlete?
They better have a heart for the sport 24/7, and you better watch what you eat. You better not touch tobacco, and you better not get into alcohol or drugs. I've seen so many of them involved in my day that are no longer with me. People ask me, what were they like? I said, they were awesome, except. So make sure you eat right. Every day of life I do 45 to an hour of stretching before I come to the range. I now pump a little weight, a little bit more than I used to, because the older you get, arthritis is more apt to come to somebody who doesn't have muscle tone in there, because it goes to the bone. If you stretch your muscles, it protects you from arthritis. So you can play on forever. That's why you find some guys in the NFL lasting longer than the others. They take better care of themselves, or any other sport. So
Right. You heard it here first from man Bob Wentz. Right now, what can people catch you now, Bob?
At the Galloping Hill driving range. I'm up here 7 days a week. I'm not always here the full days in the off season, but during the summer, I just get up here and I can't wait for my students to come in, and they're all loyal to me, and I'm loyal to them, and we have a great, situation.
Right. So
you're one of them.
Hey, can't tell everybody that, Bob. So as you know, I met Bob a couple years ago. I started catching a lot of lessons from him, and he has definitely improved my golf game a lot. I wanted to find someone, a little older guy, wisdom, and some of the wisdom he has taught me on the golf range has been beautiful. So he has such a rich history, I had to give him an interview. So I want to thank you, Mr. Wentz.
Thank you for having me.
And again, if you're looking for some golf lessons, reach out to me or come up to the Galloping Hill Range in Kenilworth, New Jersey. Come all the way to the end. You'll see the great Bob Wentz. Signing out.